Quad from the Everard Show with Jman, doing a National or American League and National League Championship Series preview. But first, we need to cover what happened to get to where we're at now. Division Series. Let's start with our Cardinals. Like it says right here, Philly Buster.
Hate to say we told you so.
We told you so. Last night's game was probably one of the craziest games I've ever witnessed.
Amazing. 1-0
against a team that's supposed to sweep us in 3 games. Against one of the... This was probably like 2 former Cy Young winners. Probably
2 best friends, too.
2 best friends, former teammates, pitching against each other, and Carpenter became Jesus. That is just unbelievable of what happened last night.
Like we said at the end of the season, when you need Chris Carpenter to show up and give you a game, this is what you get. And it just proves it time and time again. Just proves that the hype that all the Phillies had going into this series, you know, all the hubbub, and what everybody forgot to realize is that they were struggling going into the playoffs. They really did not look like the team that they looked like, you know, in months past. And the Cardinals are on a roll. And you know, they had the roll going into, you know, getting the wild card, winning all this, and still nobody gave the Cardinals a chance. Outside of St. Louis and the people that want to see us win, we're like the only 2 people outside of St. Louis that thought that they could get this series done. All the experts say they know everything about everything didn't give the Cardinals a shot. And, you know, this is what happens when you underestimate a really quality team.
And then we had good games all the way through the series with these guys. So it was nice seeing the Cardinals winning. But then in the other divisional series, the Brewers and Diamondbacks, it was crazy how out of the 4 division series, they all went to 5 games. 3 of them went to 5 games. So you really can't be too upset with that. You got to see quality baseball in all of them. But with the Diamondbacks and Brewers, it was just extra innings, the excitement of that, and then you knew the Brewers just wanted to face the Cardinals. And whoever won that series got to face us. So you knew the Brewers just had that little extra step, especially with Morgan, a little jackass, just running his mouth. But I wouldn't mind seeing the Diamondbacks, but seeing the Brewers and Cardinals, you really can't be upset with that either.
Yeah, I was hoping for the Diamondbacks to get it done in Game 5. Ended up with Nigel Morgan getting the RBI to win it in the end. Oh, man, that just pisses me off that he's the guy that has ended up getting the win for them in the division series. But this should be some really fun stuff. You know, this is the rivalry now in the Central Division with the Brewers and the Cardinals. You know, the Cubs fading away now. This is what we were talking about as the guys that as Cardinals fans, we just cannot stand. And these guys think they're coming in and taking over our division, taking over everything that we've done and everything. And, you know, this is going to be something to where we need to come in there and prove to ourselves that this is our division. This has been our division for the past 10 years, and this is what we're going to do. And I hope we can get in there and do it. And TBS, by the way, this is something that pisses me off and my father off. Watching all these games on TBS and seeing these little highlight packages of things in the past of these baseball teams, they didn't make one for the St. Louis Cardinals because they didn't believe they could get in here. Well, now we're in the NLCS, so why don't you dumbasses go make one now, because that pisses me off. So instead of seeing the stupid Brewers package, let's see some Cardinals packages that we deserve to see. It's bullcrap.
Yep. This series, like Jman said, it's just going to be crazy because these are the 2 rivals that we butted heads. Carpenter and Morgan butted heads. And it's also going to be exciting because 2 National League Central, so no matter what, we're going to have a Central Division guy in the World Series. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, like we've said. But let's go to the American League. Yankees and Tigers. Somehow the Tigers pulled the upset. Valverde's 51 for 51 on save opportunities. That is sick. Yeah. You have a team that's doesn't have that much experience. Miguel Cabrera and there's Victor Martinez, but a lot of young guys came together, like Don Kelly, Austin Jackson. You have Brendan Inge. You have Verlander become Jesus again. It's just like this team's just not a bunch of nobodies, but not a bunch of household names, and they beat the awesome Yankees. Yeah. And hold on. Who did they strike out at the end of that game 5?
Not only did he strike out in the last at bat, he struck out earlier when he had bases loaded.
Thank you, A-Royd. Woohoo! It's nice seeing the Tigers in it. Last time the Tigers beat the Yankees was 2006. All I gotta say.
Or if it's just destiny for that one. But yeah, a lot of the same lines that happened in the Phillies and Cardinals series. The Yankees really went into this series kind of stumbling. They really weren't playing to the capabilities that they were a couple months back. And really just looks, just sluggish. They almost look like an old like just an old veteran kind of like Yankees team. Like there's just old guys that were going out there and really didn't, perform well. You had the Canoes, like we were talking about in the preview last time, had the Canoes and the Grandersons who look like, just great talent. Teixeira played pretty good too. But, A-Rod kind of struggling. Jeter not really performing the capabilities. He almost hit that home run in the Game 5, which would have been crazy. But, it almost kind of seems like, Jorge might be going on the outs now. Rivera only got in a couple games. They only got in one game, I think, like that. He came in the last game also. But, it's kind of looking like this, dynasty of the Yankees, the guys that have been there for the past, 10, 12 years, is really starting to fade away. And now with the Tigers going in the ALCS should be some interesting stuff.
I think Posad's a free agent after this season.
Yeah, so he was crying after the game, so it probably looks like he might be done.
He may be done or he just may retire because he's had so many injuries.
Yeah,
it's crazy because you had the team back in late 90s with the Jeters, Scott Brocious, Bertie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Posadas, Rivera, Tino Martinez, Chuck Knobloch, all those teams, and you now are whittled down to Derek Jeter and Rivera and Posada. And
you have a lot of great young talent coming up. A lot of great talent.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting with that team.
How they go to the future.
Yeah. The other series was the Rangers and the Rays, and Adrian Beltre became Jesus.
Good Lord.
It's crazy. If you look at who hit 3 home runs in a playoff game, there's names on the list like Babe Ruth, just crazy legendary names. Names George Brett, just crazy names of guys that his name will always be in the future with, history with. So somehow the Rangers beat the Rays. It was crazy. They only won Game 4. They won in
Game 4
because 3-1 series. It's just going to be interesting to see how the Rangers bounce back with Josh Hamilton and all of them, see if they're still all healthy, because they've all been bumped and bruised throughout the season, but they still battled back and beat the Rays and that great young team that they have down there. And
Rangers really, as I thought they would go in there and really just, display their power with really taking over in that Game 4, that clincher that they had there, just hitting, the 3 home runs. I think another guy had a home run, something like that. So they really, overpowered the Rays, really young team. I think the Rays are going to be a really great team coming in. Once all these young guys, the B.J. Uptons, the Longorias, all these guys, start to mature more, the David Prices, all those guys start to mature more, this team is going to be a team to look out for, the next couple or so years, and I expect them to be, playoff contenders, each of those years. So, but the Rangers moving on to the ALCS.
That Rays team could be a contender in any other division, but they're in a division with the Red Sox and Yankees. So you're pretty much you're battling uphill from opening day. So okay, let's go to the championship series. A little preview here. Let's start with the American League with the Rangers and the Tigers. I don't know. It's going to be tough to stop Verlander in Game 1 for C.J. Wilson, but C.J. Wilson's not a pushover either.
No.
I'm picking the Rangers to win this. I don't know. They came out strong. They've had a couple days to recover themselves too because they didn't go whole Game 5 which was only a day, but it's still enough time to have pitchers be ready for the start of the series where you're not having to redo your rotations and having guys going short rest. So with Mike Napoli and Josh Hamilton, Nelson Cruz, and all of them coming back, it's gonna be interesting. These 2 series coming up are gonna be really interesting to see who comes out of it.
I'm gonna go with the Tigers. I always like the team that seems like they're desperate. They almost seem like they need to go in there and get the win. It seems like all those kind of teams do it, and overcoming the Yankees, the juggernaut, the Empire, whatever you want to say, and going in there. And it seems like the Rangers almost, I don't want to say kind of easily got in there with the Rays because I think the Rays are a great team, but it almost seems like they're like, okay, we're better than we feel that we really are, and winning and not having to go to a Game 5 like all the other ones had to go to, and coming in here with the extra time. It seems like the Tigers have more momentum to me. With Verlander going Game 1, he probably shut it down. But, as we've said with all the things, Valverde, if they get to the end of the game, you go Benoit and then you go Valverde, and it just seems like it's over and you can't stop anything. So I'm going to go with the Tigers in the ALCS.
Unless Benoit is a big Band-Aid, that's not proper. Yeah. It's just cheap. Proper mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay, the series that's going to be watched probably by me more than any of the series, the Cardinals and the Brewers. I don't know. It's going to be, I think I'm calling 7 games in this.
Wow.
Hands down. 2 teams that not really battled, had to go to Game 5, had to go pretty much play life or death in Game 5 because they knew this was it. So the Brewers going 10 innings, Nuss only going 9 with 1-0 awesome pitching. Picking the Cardinals to win it, just a team, I guess we're the Cinderella story. That is what I'm feeling because last week of August we were 10.5 out, and then somehow Brewers fell on their face, and we just battled, and then we just keep battling all the way through. I feel like this team is really good, and this team has a lot of veterans to help with the young guys, with the John Jay, with the David Freese, with the Yachty's even. Yachty's not really that young, but with some of the pitchers, we have Carpenter, and that could help Jaime and Edwin Jackson, and we have Kyle Loesch, and our bullpens. Crazy enough, our bullpens look pretty good. With Mott finally getting there and McClellan finally being down there, and then we have Jake Westbrook if one of our pitchers just blow up or if we go to extra innings. So I'm picking the Yankees, or not the Yankees. Good Lord, hope to God not. Cardinals in 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I'm gonna say 6 games. I don't know. It's just, to me, I think it's almost this thing of something like an unfinished business type thing. It feels as though they really got the best of us in the season. If we could get in there and get some wins in Milwaukee, the Brewers just cannot play away from home. We saw what happened to them in Arizona. It seemed like they just got slaughtered every game. Had the grand slam against them. I mean, it's like seems like they cannot play it if they're not at home. And I think that we've had enough games in Milwaukee. We know what the atmosphere is like. We know what we could get in there and do. And like Quad said, the veteran talent that we have on there, you throw guys in there like Loesch and Carpenter, the guys that have been battle-tested in playoff games, really knows what's going to go on here. And, as you said, with the young talent stepping up, the David Freese with that huge home run in Game 4, which was like just monstrous to get that big lead going. I have the Cardinals winning this series, and it's going to set up the 06 rematch between the Detroit Tigers and the Cardinals for me, which would be amazing to see.
The only thing I want to see is Carpenter versus Morgan. Yeah. That is one thing, because those who have unfinished business after Morgan.
Niger is just shaking in his boots right now with the fact of how badass Chris Carpenter has looked lately. That performance in Game 5, Chris Carpenter will go down as one of the most amazing Cardinal performances in a playoff series that we've ever seen. A 1-0 win over the Phillies was amazing.
And Roy Halladay.
And Roy Halladay, yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, if this Brewers team really hasn't really showed me enough to pick them, and it's just like they almost lost to the Diamondbacks when the Diamondbacks are in a weak division.
And it really seems like the Brewers they're just on that cocky, arrogant level where they're just like, we're better than everyone else. Oh my God, the Cardinals beat the Phillies. What are we gonna do? We beat the Cardinals, blah blah blah, all this kind of crap. And the Cardinals are going in there like this is a war. This is this is not something to mess around with. We're going in there to win. Like I think the Tigers are, the role they're doing. I think that these two teams are really somewhere like, we're not messing around. We're not going to be cocky. We're not going to let it go to our heads. We're going to go in there and get the job done.
These two series are going to be very hard-nosed. Yeah. It's going to be blood, sweat, and tears. So
yeah, should be great.
Quad from the Area Show wrapping this up with Jman. Check out for the World Series preview. Hopefully we were right. If we're not, we're sorry, but
yeah. We told you so on the deal.
We told you on one, so never doubt the doubters. So have a good one, guys.